I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
Hello. So I'm going to do well, maybe in two parts. I'm going to try to keep it to one um, video on methodological versus philosophical naturalism. These two concepts it's really important to understand the difference. And they're often conflated by, well, people out to deceive. I'm specifically referring to creationists and idiots, whatever. How Wolfwing One said, idiots, or I like the word from the Dover trial, seed design propositionists. Anyway, but the point is, they often mix these terms up, and I think that it does a disservice. So this whole my interest in this comes from I took a course in graduate school called the Philosophy of Science, and after taking that class, I wondered how I ever functioned as a science major without it, and I really, really wished that I had heard this material early on in my career or early on in my education. It would have been it would have been very, very helpful. And so, as a professor, I created, and designed a course, an undergraduate, upper division undergraduate course, based on my graduate one, and it turned out to be probably my favorite class I've ever taught. Well, Introduction to Human Evolution was a blast as well. But anyway, but it was a great course, and the students loved it. It was awesome. But anyway, so one of the things that I emphasized in there is the difference between, I did a whole lecture on methodological versus philosophical naturalism, because the two ideas are very, very different concepts. They use the term, those out to deceive use the term naturalism and mix both of them together, and that it's highly inaccurate. Just a quick and dirty definition. Philosophical naturalism is the belief. It's a belief that there are no supernatural agencies. That there can be no supernatural agencies. Okay, understand that. That's the belief that not only do supernatural agencies don't have a part in science, but that they cannot exist. Okay. And I want to emphasize that is a belief, that is a philosophical belief. Okay, that's why philosophical naturalism. Methodological naturalism has no is not opposite. Is very different. Methodological is the method by which we do science. Means that you assume that no supernatural agencies are at work. You assume that the cause that what you're looking at has a natural explanation. You're not saying there could be deities, there could be spirits and everything out there, but they don't enter into the realm that you're looking at. Okay? So this is why science is based on methodological naturalism, not philosophical naturalism. Philosophical naturalism, a lot of scientists are also philosophical naturalists. I pretty much am one myself. But that's a belief. Okay, that's when we talk about you can't prove there's no God. That's the whole concept. That's why that it is a truth. It's a philosophy. I don't believe in spirits. I don't believe in the supernatural. But that has nothing to do with when I do science. I'm a methodological naturalist, as is any scientist, and many, many theistic scientists are. You have to proceed that way. Hopefully, I'll make sure I don't want to run. Probably gonna run out of time. But an analogy I like to use is, I want you to picture this. Picture a crusty, hardened homicide detective. Okay, picture in your mind. I don't know, whoever you want to imagine. Just picture this. Picture that. Okay, I'm gonna try to paint this. Okay, he's crusty, mean, hardened. Decades of the worst violent crimes in history. Okay, he also, when he goes home for the night, has a family and a wife and kids, and is an evangelical Christian. right? He believes, literalist interpretation of the Bible. He has this whole rich spiritual life aside from his work. Okay, so this is, picture this man. Now he's investigating a brutal homicide. A young woman was killed. It's horrible. Even through his hardened senses, this is a horrible thing to look at. He's investigating the room. He's looking at the room, and he's looking at the evidence. He's got his team out there doing all of their evidence work. Okay? Now, his religious beliefs will not enter or should not enter into his investigation, right? It doesn't matter what he does on Sunday, what he believes, how he says grace at dinner or whatever. Okay? He is going to be looking at fingerprints. He's going to be looking at fibers, foreign fibers in the place. He's going to be looking at the blood spatter. He's going to be looking at the position of the body. He's going to be looking at all of those things because he's going to assume that the killer, that the perpetrator of this horrible crime was a physical, corporeal being that had fingerprints, that left evidence, that had DNA, that left this. He's not going to assume that it could be, a demon came in here, did this, created fake fingerprints, fake DNA, and left. He's not going to assume that. He might believe that such things might occur. He might believe that that is a possibility in the realm of existence, but he's not. If he's an effective detective, he's not going to incorporate that into his investigation. Do you sort of see where I'm going with this? Okay, so it has nothing to do with it. No, he's not going to go to church on Sunday and have his parishioners, his fellow parishioners, go, "Why didn't you allow that a demon could have done it? Why didn't you, why did you were really doing shoddy police work because you assumed that the crime was committed by a physical being when it could have been done by a supernatural being." Okay? Now, likewise, biologists, whether theists, atheists, whatever their belief system is, when we approach a mystery, a problem, we're looking at a collection of evidences and we're trying to put them together into a coherent storyline, we are going to assume that there's a natural explanation for it. When astronomers are looking at cosmic phenomena, they're going to say, what are we looking at? What's the evidence? What do we know about stellar formation? What we're going to assume that this has a natural explanation for it. They're not saying it's completely impossible that a supernatural agency stepped in and created it ex nihilo, but they're not going to. We can't use that as a basis for knowledge because there's no information contained in that statement. And it's very interesting that when you look at the sciences, only biology is picked on for this, really. I mean, there's spillover in other sciences, but it's really a biological phenomena. I mean, people don't look at, there are young Earth creationists that are also polymer chemists. Nobody's accusing them of, their atheistic polymer chemistry. Nobody's looking at them because when they do their science, they're not, doing incantations over their polymers. They're following a set of natural laws when their work involves assuming that the laws of chemistry fit together. They might believe that ultimately it was created by a deity, ultimately the laws were put in place, but their actual work doesn't. They're not calling in supernatural agencies. It's an atheistic science, but unfortunately, only biologists are called out on that. Okay, I think I'm just going to end this. Hopefully, I made some sense in this little rant of mine. I will see you guys later.